All right, great. So we'll be recording because we are moving to a new platform, and we'll also be, uh, where is it? Yeah, we'll also be doing all our training and stuff from the what I call the Facebook group. So as you may be aware that if we have a WhatsApp group that um, people who just came in would not be have access to material that went before. And so we are using the Facebook group. I'll talk about some more about that later on. But this would be one of the training videos that we would be having, and one of the training videos to instruct newcomers as to how this business is built. So we have here the 8-step pattern for success. Any business involving large numbers of people, people from different walks of life, people who are not skilled in the particular business, would need to have a pattern to follow, some system that would make it easy for each and every person coming in. A pattern that is going to redound to the success of the members. And so first thing we need to be uh, ensuring that we have is a dream or a why. Then we would make some commitments towards the business. If you have to do anything, you need to be committed to it. Make a list of people, prospects that we intend to contact. We talk about how we'll do that contacting and inviting. How do we successfully launch our businesses? How do we follow up and follow through with those people who have decided to come into the business? And the counseling and strategizing that is done between the person who has just come in and the person who brought them in, and possibly people who, or in many cases, I should say, people who are leaders in the business would do that counseling and strategizing. And of course, we teach a pattern to 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 the newcomers, and it starts all over again. So rinse and repeat. So the first pattern has to do with your dream or your why. Dream basically mean what you really want to get out of the business. As we say, the easiest way to develop or to understand what your dream is to ask yourself the question, if time and money were not obstacles, what lifestyle would you want? We are not talking about if you could earn all the money you want. We are just saying that you have all the money you want. You have the time to enjoy it. That is when you have lifestyle. What, how would you want to live? What would you want to have? Where would you want to go? Because I think what a lot of people do not understand that this business we call Fortress Social Referral Network, this business is not just hitting a maximum of maxing out your matrix at $30,000, getting an extra $10,000 per month. So let's just say $40,000 US monthly. It is way more than that. It is, you could then start another matrix and then start another and another. So you multiply 40 by any number um, that you wish. So that's the income. So it's unlimited income. And so therefore, if you have unlimited income, you could afford to dream as big as you would like to dream. So our dreams are what we think will make us happy. And the things that you may want to make you happy, it would be nice to be sure that it is your dream and it is not something that somebody in time past would have instilled in you. But it's something that you really want, something that money could buy and time could afford. Your dream should excite you and scare you at the same time. By that I mean, it should be big enough that you like what you see, but it should scare you because of how unusual it may be to what you are accustomed to. Probably it may scare you because of the work that is involved. And there is some trepidation in that people are generally unsure as to whether they would accomplish it. But it is said that you should dream big. Dream big because the bigger the dream, the bigger the obstacle that it will take to stop you from getting your dream. We all know of people who, if rain falls, they will not show up at this webinar. This webinar is from the comfort of your own home, but rain falling is suddenly a problem. So the smallest things will keep them from their dreams. But if you have big dreams, it takes a bigger obstacle, because once you believe your dream, you will pursue it relentlessly. So it must be believable, because you cannot fool your subconscious mind. Your subconscious mind will say, who you trying to fool with that? You don't believe that. What Benz you talking about? Who in your family have Benz? You know. And if you cannot come or bring yourselves to believe in a particular dream, it is unlikely that you'll accomplish it. You would be faking yourself out, and that is more damaging than probably downsizing and starting with a dream that you could believe. And it is the most successful way to achieve wealth, success. And success doesn't only have to do with money, guys, but we are doing this business, and so we are talking about money because it's a business. But success has to do with your personal development, your ability to think, your health, your relationships. It has to do with your spirituality, the entire person. We are just dealing with one aspect of success, which is your financial success, okay? So, as we say, it must be believable. Start small and work your way up. Why do I say that? If you could start by saying, I would like to earn $1,000 a month. You may be earning now $2,000 a month, but an extra 1,000 will put you in a place that will make you a little more comfortable, and you'll feel a sense of achievement. You would feel better about yourself. When you're making that extra 1,000, you could then go to 5,000, because your believability would be higher. You're making 3 and you're moving to 5. So when you're making 5 extra on the side, it will be totally $7,000 a month. So you're trying to hit 5,000 more. You successfully accomplished the first one. So your subconscious now is more in a place to believe or want to believe that the second dream is achievable. So many people start with a big dream, believing that dreaming big is going to be the thing, and they don't want to downsize their dreams to a point where they could believe it. And that is where a lot of people fail. You must believe the dream. You must believe the goal, I should say, that you are setting. You could have this big dream of massive wealth, but as you come to set goals, it must be believable, right? It must be crystal clear. Your dreams, you must see yourself, you must live through it, you must see yourself driving the car. You could be down the road in a maxi going down the road, but you are envisioning driving the car of your dreams, smelling the leather. You could be thinking about your driving along a beach somewhere in another country. You could see yourself with your loved ones around you in a car and all of that. Use your imagination and get it as crisp and clear. You could use pictures and what you call vision board, a whole host of things. By the way, any one of these topics that I'm speaking about here, I could spend 2 hours talking on it. I could talk about it in series of 1-hour sessions. So, and it could go way beyond 2 hours, 8 hours. But what we are doing is not trying to overwhelm you, but dealing with the basic that you could begin with. So it must be crystal clear. The clearer it is, it's better. So if you could get pictures, if you could get videos, I may be doing my work or something, and I will have a video of wealth running cars, boats, planes, you know, luxurious things, and I'm glancing at it from time to time and still doing my work and listening to the background music and making the your brain will make the association and all of that. So you could listen to Baroque music, which helps concentration and so forth. And when you're concentrating on your dreams, you have that playing in the background. Whatever you that will help you to crystallize that dream, right? But you would have heard about SMART goals. It must be specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time bound. By that we mean, as I said, it must be crystal clear, it must be specific. Like in the case of this business, you want to max out or to at least you may fill your fourth level by such and such a date. And although it's your fourth level that is filled, we know from experience that there will be people probably up on way down to your ninth and beyond level. But your fourth level will be filled, and you go about with a strategy working backwards. If you're saying you're doing it in 3 months or 4 months, you start breaking down your goals into 1 month, then week by week, then day by day, in order to accomplish the goal. All right. So it must be specific and measurable. As we said, it must be believable. So you must feel as you could attain it. It must be possible to attain it. And there are some people say you could believe or anything that you put your mind to, you could achieve. Um, but it is difficult. Not everybody has been endowed with the same gift. And if probably I shouldn't get into that realm because, you know, not everybody could do all what they want to do. You have to leave room for ability, skill. There are things you could learn. There are things that some people cannot learn. You more or less have to be born with a certain level of creativity and so forth. You could strive as much as you wish to be, let's say, a good artist, and somebody who probably never practiced drawing pick up a pen or a pencil one day and could draw better than you could ever draw because that is not your forte, that is not your skill set. But you and I are endowed with enough skills for wealth creation because you really need to be too bright to be wealthy. Not in today's world anyway. You would have seen that video that I ran just now that spoke in terms of never has it been so easy to fail so quickly or to become successful so quickly because of the internet, because of a whole lot of things that technology that we have today. Success is faster. Um, your goal must be relevant. Make sure it's something that you want and if you're not doing it because somebody else wants you to do it. It must be in keeping with who you are. So if you are let me see, what example could I use? In keeping with your morals, your values, all that makes up you. Um, and an extreme example is you may be a Christian person. You can't have a dream to be a strip club dancer. You understand? Because it's not in keeping with your core values. So your dreams must be things that you would not have a mental conflict about. And some people start off on a bad leg by having challenges with money and believing that money is a bad thing. And therefore, they have been taught all their lives, enough money is okay. A little job thing is all right, 10, 20 grand a month. But when you're talking about having $1 million, that is only bad people who do wrong things end up with that kind of money because average people could never get that because you gotta do something wrong. People have all sorts of beliefs, and sometimes you do not know what beliefs you have and how you may have gotten those beliefs. But it is your task. It goes beyond the scope of this training here that you need to shed some things that may be keeping you back or holding you back. You need to change your belief systems, and there are ways that you could do that. So it must be relevant, and it must be time bound. It must have a date set on it. Now there are two schools of thought with reference to dreams and goals and whatnot. Some say that leave it up to the universe for it to happen in its own time. Others say that you set a specific goal and set a time on it and you would achieve it. Actually, setting a time will cause you not to achieve it because as the time draws near and you see that you haven't achieved and you have a short time to go and much to do, fear steps in and the whole attraction, power of attraction, starts to reverse and go in the opposite direction. So you need to know yourself, you need to know what you could believe in, and the more you could have successes and the more you could celebrate your successes, not celebrate by a big party or anything. It may just mean going out and having dinner or doing something that you could afford. Um, you celebrate that success, but always celebrate when you hit your milestones. And the time that you set to do it, you may not hit it in that time, but whenever you accomplish it, celebrate. All right. So you need to make some commitments. How we reach there? One second, guys. Okay. What time and money commitments um, are you making? If you have to accomplish what you have to accomplish, it's going to take some time and it's going to take some money. Would you agree? So, how much time are you going to allocate to this business? 1 hour a week, 2 hours, 6 hours, 24 hours, 40 hours, 100 hours? It depends on how much time you could give it. I normally advise people to clear their non-negotiable time. The time for prayer, ablutions, time for going to work, time for um, travel and all of that, time with family, and all the other time you have. And if we were to do a system to show you how much time you have, you realize that if you just use what we refer to as spare time, one could become wealthy in the spare time. So you block off your commitment to church and all of that. And the rest of the time, you know, on Mondays you have this time and you allocate time. When you add up that time, you see that you could afford 15, 20 hours a week. You try to do that consistently. All right. You allocate time and you allocate money. This the company calls for $10 per month US. But you may need to buy a one-time video. You may need to buy a laptop or some, because doing it from your phone may be difficult. So you build and you're going to get the money, you buy the laptop. And what are you committing? Are you going to take the money from your salary to start up because you want to move faster or from your savings? Whichever you want to do, but you need to commit some money and time to the project. More time than money this business costs because it's really a low budget business. How teachable are you willing to be? And this here is a stumbling block for many in that some people cannot humble themselves, let's put it that way, humble themselves to listen to another person, a person who may be younger than them, a person who may not have the education that they have, and that becomes a stumbling block and they tend to buck against what suggestions are being made because nobody's here to give you instructions. That's for the job. Here, it's all voluntary, and I watch people crash and burn almost every day because they are not willing to be teachable. And you have to let them fall, you have to let them fail, you have to counsel and warn and whatnot. But people will be people and people will do what they want. So, not being teachable could cost you your success. But once somebody knows more than you in an area, guys and gals, we need to humble ourselves to the process of learning. That person isn't better than you, but that person at this time could impart knowledge and skill and assist you in something that you may not know as much about, but it's relevant to your achieving your goals. I've also seen that top engineers, doctors, millionaires, all sorts of people humble themselves to listen to somebody who is not as wealthy or educated or whatever than they are. And that is how they become wealthy, because it's more of an attitude thing than it is of having brawn and strength and time. And it's your attitude, guys. It's the attitude determines the altitude. All right. So we need to be teachable, and it's a core key trait of successful people. Are you willing to be in all the webinars, both for you and your group? Because I laugh at people who are not at the webinars and telling their people to go to the webinars. That really is not a wise thing. What you need to do is to be on all the webinars. And then you have the moral authority to tell your people, hey, you're not supposed to miss these things unless, of course, life happens. But in the main, somebody will know a person is committed to the webinars and a person isn't committed to the webinars. And why do you need to come to all the webinars, all the trainings, all the sessions that we may have? It's not that we are here to waste your time. In the first place, the person who's doing the webinar would have spent time and effort either preparing or making sure that they are there to carry out the webinar, whether it's training or whether it's just the normal presentation. And it's a sign of disrespect to not be there. But more importantly, it's a horrible example to your group. And the speed of the leader determines the speed of the group. And sometimes your group lag behind in what you are doing. So if you want your group to be red hot, you have to be white hot, because they tend to cut corners on the example that is set. But you need to set the pace for your group. You need to be at the webinars, not because you've never heard it before, but you could learn something from every single webinar. And it's a matter of pride that people believe that they can't learn from others. So every time Andy does a webinar, he uses sometimes the exact same slides, but he talks about different things. And you get gems that could help you in your business or help you in using an example that you never thought of before. But it could hardly be said that a webinar is useless, because it talks about the same business, it talks about the same compensation plan and stuff. It's time we transition from the employee mentality, trying to cut corners on how much time and energy we spend, to move towards the entrepreneurial mindset where this is my business and I'll be committed to it, and I will spend the time and I will make the commitment, go to the webinars and all of that. The example to your group, people listen to what you do, they don't do what you say. And there are many experiments and little funny things that we could do, you know, where you say, touch your elbow and you put your hand on your chin. You're standing in front of a group and saying, I want you to do this. Touch your elbow and you put your hand on your chin, and the whole group touch the chin. But you said elbow. They do what you do, not what you say. So in order to be a leader, guys, you need to be a follower first. You need to follow, and then you are qualified to lead. It makes you qualified to lead. How much time are you prepared to hear no? You know, some people know is like a bad word. You know, somebody tell them, nah, not interested, not right now. I don't like those type of things, and I'm not a business type person, or something like that. And people take it as if somebody cussed them by, man, that's full up like roti. You just tell a man you not interested in the business that he has exposed you to. And you'd be surprised how people take that. As if something wrong with them, something wrong with their business, that they're stupid, it's an insult. They get vexed with people, kind of thing. just because people not interested in the business. But if somebody don't like ice cream and is ice cream is something that most people like, you know, what you man are telling me stupid and nothing like that, you just move on. As you know, deal with it as if you're coming around serving cookies. You buy some cookies in Hilo or something. That's a place in well, I should say Massy stores. That's a place in Trinidad and Tobago for you foreign folks. Um, and you're walking around, you have a function at home, and you have these cookies that you bought, and somebody said they don't want it. You don't drop on your knees and beg them, oh God, take one, take. No, you didn't cook it yourself. Now, if you cook it and everybody who you pass it wrong to say they don't want it, and you take that personal because you interpret it that it ain't tasting good or they ain't trust you, and your head there started going all different direction. Yeah, that's how your whole evening, eh? But you could pass around with cookies, nobody takes it, and then you pass around with sandwiches and everybody. It's up to the person, it's not their cup of tea. So you just move on, all right? So how many no's you're willing to take? For a novice, it's like 1 in 10. You get 10 no's before you get a yes. As you develop more skills, as you understand your business better, it comes to 2 in 10, 3 in 10, probably as much as 5 in 10. Some people reach 8 in 10. But that's okay. You are now more efficient. You're more skilled at what you do. But 1 in 10 is great. It just means that if you need to bring 3 people in, you need to expose it to 30. So you'll know that you will hear 30, you'll expose it to 30 people and you'll hear 27 no's. Nothing wrong with that. The 3 yeses is what you're really looking for. The no's should be like water off a duck's back. And I don't want to labor the point because there's a video that we recommend called Building Your Network Marketing Business by Jim Rohn that many people have not yet listened to. Many people have not yet studied far more. So if we are not willing to do that and to develop the skill and the mindset necessary to understand, as he talk about the parable, the sower and whatnot, but that's necessary. That's a necessary video for what we are about to do. We need to be prepared. You also need to be prepared to be hurt by a group. That's something that happens. Sometimes people misinterpret what you say, misinterpret your action, all that. That happens in life. It happens on the job, it happens home or wherever. You don't vex with somebody and you see me talking to she. That's almost childlike behavior. What we need to do is to mature. We need to toughen up a bit. And so that because of our goals and our dreams, you can't let somebody who probably buff you or disagree with you. There's a disagreement. If you say tomato, they say tomato, you know, and they disagree with the pronunciation. You're gonna get into a battle about that. So you have to allow people to hurt themselves if they're not willing to listen. And as cruel as that may sound, most of us learned by experience. Not so? Parents will tell you, don't touch the stove, it's hot. But you don't believe your parents and you want to see how hot it really is. She just trying to stop me from enjoying life. Something like the Garden of Eden. And you now decide you're going to touch the stove. When you get burned, you become a preacher now, warning all your siblings, don't touch that stove, you know. So some people, that's the way they learn. Others learn by other people's mistakes. It has to do with your level of intelligence, your level of awareness, your level of exposure, and also to your attitude towards what we call rules. Some people, they're very, and that is a necessary trait in some. They're rebellious. They don't deal with rules too well. And there's a place of people like that who they have to agree to everything that when I say agree, they have to understand everything before they follow. Some people, once you just tell them do that, they do it. But others need to understand. Others need to know that you're an expert before they listen to you, and a whole host of things. But I'm saying that When people and you fall out, because once you're working with groups, there would be disagreements. Otherwise, they'll call all of us moving because we think and act alike, you know. But people are different and call them by different names, and therefore they'll have different personalities. You don't sweat the small stuff, all right? You need to be prepared. People will hurt you. Spend 15 minutes being hurt. Wipe your eyes, dry your tears, start smiling again, and move on. Are you prepared to find a way to succeed? Go through it, under it, around it, over it. What, how committed are you to the success that you say or you told the person who invited you or some leader in the business who is working with you for your success? How prepared you are to achieve that goal? Are you prepared to find a way? What if they help you? That would be nice. But if they don't help you, still you going and succeed. Your success is not determined by your group leader. They're there to help or facilitate. But sometimes because you don't like your group leader, you end up being successful because you say, I don't want to hear your presentation. I don't like you, so you're going to learn your presentation and you're going to start doing your presentation. You may end up doing a better presentation, but success means that you will find a way, the success attitude that is, regardless. All right, but the dream has to be big enough. You have to want something bad enough to do that. And finally, are you prepared to study the material so that you can grow into a better leader? I have developed a YouTube channel, a Facebook group, a Facebook page, what you call Instagram, all of that, all integrated to train people and to also prospect people, bringing new people into this fortress business. That speaks to a level of commitment. And whatever has to be done, it has to work at the speed that I want it to work at. People may consider where I have reached to be successful, but I want to go much further than this. So you too, in like manner, the material that those, and we are transitioning to the Facebook group by the end of this month. The material that you will find in there and the videos and so forth, training and stuff, is all towards making you more successful. And therefore studying it and committing to the study of it is necessary in your uh, journey in this business. So you're making this list. We talk about making a list. The list must be written, it must be on paper, white paper, blue ink. Why white paper and blue ink? Because that is what the experts in the mind tell you. That when you write your goals and um, your dreams and whatnot, even the list of names, in that it is etched in the mind in a particular way that when you meet these people, people who you didn't see in a long time, you just remember the name or you talk about how you made the list just now. But you get that name there, suddenly the person appears. It's not black magic. It is how the mind works. You see, there are nerve endings. There are your whole nervous system in writing the name with your hand rather than typing it on a computer. It connects with your mind and your brain and all of that in a way that it wouldn't with typing on a computer. And the blue, how it affects the eye, how it affects the internal vision and dream and all of that is what the experts say you should write your goals with and your list of names with. So you don't leave it on your phone, you don't leave it in a book or something that you, not in a book, in on a computer somewhere. Write it out. There's only 50 or 100 names, right? You don't discount anybody. The reason for doing that is because this is a simple business. Certain things you definitely have to discount people. You may want to discount a person who is totally obnoxious, not teachable, just disruptive, fine. But barring that, you shouldn't know too many of that because we won't question whether you should hear or not. But anyway, you don't discount anybody. You make this list of 50 to 100 names minimum. And why they say 50 to 100? Because if you listen to How to Build Your Network Marketing Business by Jim Rohn, you will understand that not everybody will come in, whether your ratios that would appear would be 1 in 10, 2 in 10, or whatever. If you have a list of 5 names and they're your 5 best friends and you're sure they will join you in this business, and 3 of them say no and the other one sick, and there's only 1 of them say, well, I might join and think, but these days are busy on work. As soon as this period finish here, I'll join with you next 2 months. You stand up, would you stand up and wait until you have to have a list of names, whether you feel they're coming in or they're not coming in? The only person who knows if they're coming in is God. Your purpose is to expose it. Just as for those of you who are Christians, your purpose is to expose the word, and the people who, that's where the parable of the sower comes in. The people who it's designed for they to hear will hear. Those who are designed for they not to hear, not hear. All right, you have very little control over that. Your work is to sow. And so therefore, the larger the names are listed, the more potential you have of bringing people on board, right? So you can't get 3 people if you don't have 30 names, if you're not very skilled and you don't have much credibility and all of that. So what you do have is a list, and you could always make a list. We have the memory jogger and all of that to help you, right? That is also in the Facebook group. So don't be concerned with who may say no. Write down the names. That is not your business who say no. In fact, you're looking for 9 no's, because if you didn't get them 9 no's, you won't get 1 yet. Yes. And Jim Rohn address all those things, right? All you're doing when you're contacting and inviting guys is trying to get people to the webinar. All right. So if your goal is not to expose the business to them and explain, well, you see, you get 3 right, and them 3 gonna get 3 right, and then eventually you're gonna get X. No, no, no. All you're telling them about is just giving them this sizzle video, as we call it. It's a short video, 1.5 to 2 minutes. Different leaders use different videos. You sizzle just mean that, we say in this kind of business that you sell the sizzle, not the steak. So you only looking to pique their interest. And it's really a sifting tool. You have this video, you send it to say, John, sending you a video here. I want you to call me back as soon as you finish listening to it. I'm launching a business, and this may have some money in it for both of us. Whatever pitch you're using, you will know your friends, and we dealt with different types of pitch and whatnot that you can use. And I'll be recording all the training so that people now would not have to miss things and all of that, right? So you send that video to them. If at the end, when you call any prospect, as we say, you need to be busy because you don't want them holding on long talk. You have some friends who, especially if you didn't see them for a long time, and you use the memory jogger and the category came up and say, oh, shucks, Fred, and you put on Fred name. When you call Fred want to get into catching up on old times. You have to tell him, Fred, I'm making some calls now. Over the next hour or 2 hours, I'm making calls. I have a meeting on shortly after that. I want you to view this. And you send it to him, and you tell him, call you back as soon as he's finished. If he doesn't do that, which most people don't do, you call back. And some of them say, boy, you mean get a chance to listen to that yet? Say, when you get a chance, tomorrow, say, okay, I'll call you tomorrow night. And you moving on because you're sending out this to many people. We'll get to that on the launch just now. But you call the prospect when you are busy, so that you don't get into no set of talk and run up your phone bill and then talk about the business expenses. You let them know that you're sending a video and we'll call them back. The video will pique their interest if they are the right people. If they're not the right people, they will find a set of faults, a set of excuses, a set of reason. The fella didn't explain it good. I don't like how that drawing thing look. They will find something wrong with the business. And in these times, and people don't do this and people don't do that, you know the drill. The video is to just sift out, all right? It piques the interest of the right people. When you call them back, all you ask is, what do you like about what you heard? And you let them answer. You don't try to prompt them. And based on the answer, if they didn't get anything, but I hear that thing, but like my mind wasn't really there. When you start to get people like that, they're not looking. You want somebody who's looking, and they must be looking for what you have. If they're not looking for what you have, nothing wrong with you, them, nor your business. All right? So you could still remain friends with the person. You ask them that question and you wait on the response. If they like some of the things they saw or heard and have some questions, you say, that's a good question, but the guy is going to be doing the full-blown presentation and he'll answer that within the presentation. Now the presentation is tomorrow or is the next day or whenever. And say, could I send you a link for that? Because I want you to listen to that. If you're excited about this video, you will certainly like that. And you send them a link to the webinars that we would have, right? There are some people who don't like this system. And this is what we talk about following. In fact, I'll get to that later on. You're using the sizzle video as a sifting tool. Again, call them after the webinar. After you send them to the webinar, you call them and ask them the very same question about the webinar now. What do you like about what you just heard? And again, you're harsh. Listen to what the people say. Don't go on talking. Well, how you like the party thing? No, let the people talk. Let the people talk themselves into the business. You know, sometimes somebody tell you, me so interested, but if you ask the right question, which is, what do you like most? We didn't ask you what your attitude was. We didn't ask you to give your perspective. Those are open-ended questions. This is a question that is very narrow. What do you like? It forces the brain to go into the mode of finding something that they like. And your brain does that naturally, and they will start telling you about what they like, and they could talk themselves right into the business. You try to talk at that point, you're going to talk them out of the business, right? So let them talk, and if they say things that conducive to signing them up, you do so, or you answer one or two questions to them, or put them onto your applying if it's something you don't know. But your next step is to sign them up. And you send them your link. Okay, your link is on your dashboard of your back office. Have a successful launch. Now, it's one thing to have a meeting or send them to a webinar, or because we do this totally online, or to launch your business. Now we are speaking in terms of launching rather than just starting up your business. You want to call and send the video to many persons. So you'll get several people signing up in your first week. You want to send 5 to 10 people to each of the webinars. Sometimes we have 3 webinars, presentations for the week. Sometimes we have 2. But you're sending 5 to 10 people to that, depending on your goals or whatnot. So that in your first week, well, certainly you'll get your 3. But you could get more than that because you want to spill over as a leader onto the people in your group. So you create an avalanche. And if everybody's doing this, the matrix will fill up pretty quickly. All right. But you want to launch your business. It is said that when a decision is made, especially a major decision in life, to do a business is certainly a major decision. You hit it hard, you hit it fast. You create the universe, as they say, must understand that you're serious. The minute you make a decision to do something, obstacles will come in your way. In order to deal with those obstacles, it helps if you're moving fast and successful things happening. So sometimes you may get an eviction notice, you may get, because the landlord could have evict you a long time, but they choose as you start this business to do. Because 6 months now you ain't paying your rent, right? So you may get some problem with your tire, your engine blow out. Um, thank God it's not like long time when we had to go to people's houses. You could stay behind your computer. Your computer and all may give out, but it seems as if testing comes, and that is almost like an indication that you're serious. You have a list, you're pumped, you write down the name, you start talking to people, and something started happening in your life. You now have to have laser beam focus and not let the setback stop you from achieving your goal. And if you're in a launch mode where you put in several people on the call, or you ask um, your leader in your business to do some more meetings than those for you, and you launch your business probably in partnership with several of the people who he has brought in, and you have a closed meeting there, which is just for you and his people. And they talk about Harry's and Fred and Tom is launching the business at this webinar. They are new to the business, and we have 30 people on this call, all belonging to one of them, and we are going to be exploding the business. And so the person who's doing the business would let them know it's a launch that we are launching. And that is going to set up in the other people's minds the thought of when I come in, they're going to launch my business too. Now, they know how much hard work it is, but they think about the business going to launch and how excited it is, whatever. But you're launching your business, so you get massive success. And you move on to the next phase of the training and all of that that has to happen to these people. This is why it's so essential that we prepare for the large numbers, because of certain things I am going to do too. But put your business on restart. You could relaunch your business at any time. What has gone in the past was just when you were twiddling your thumbs. You're going into launch mode, and you decide you're launching your business, and you come together with your leader and you do that, or you wait on one of the business if it's you want to. If the Wednesday is when the person you now come into the business, and the next meeting is quite Sunday, you making your list tomorrow, please God, which will be Thursday. So today is Wednesday, you make your list Thursday, you have Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and no exposure to nobody. But what you want to do is to bring a meeting up like a Friday, and we have a Friday meeting too. And you have a meeting in between, like Thursdays and Tuesdays, we don't have any meetings. You don't have meetings on Saturday either. Don't let that get in your way. Let the person who brought in splicing a meeting for you, and you, after you make your list, get the meeting going. Sometimes you don't have much time, and you with stress on the work and whatnot, but you make your launch happen. If somebody going to take an hour to do a presentation for you, brother, you can't spend less than an hour calling people. And if you're taking probably what a minute or two max with any person, in an hour you could do real damage. And you send out the sizzle call, the sizzle video to them, and you just start calling them back after that. And you could make a lot of things happen with little time using the tools that we just outlined, right? So you're launching your business, you do the work, you make this happen, and you always seek assistance and counsel from leaders. The person who invited you may not be skilled enough, or may just have come in and they don't know how to do this, because we are now teaching the launch process. But this the guy who I learned this from was Holton Bugs. He was a network marketing person. And though we are in a membership and Israeli memberships being sold, um, the process, we could copy a lot from that process, right? Now, when you get into momentum by duplication. This process, you get into momentum by duplication. Duplicate this process with your invitees. All right, so get everybody on board and teach them the same thing. So that momentum that you get, if when these set of people come in, you don't know what to do with them, it really doesn't make sense. You must know how you're going to organize these people, how you're going to do meetings for them, how you're going to set up the time. You plan it out first, and then you take action. And I don't know how many of you just get excited in just the planning process, but I I get pretty excited when I start planning and working my numbers. I work the numbers backward, and based on it, you know where you're going to hit, and hitting it is pretty much fun. So you have now the follow-up, follow-through. Follow-up, follow-through is basically after the person would have joined, you are now seeking to take them through the training process. So you ensure that the enrolled persons, um, you expose them to the group chat or the Facebook group. Now, not all the leaders may use my Facebook group with their people. They obviously would be in the group, but they may have a private group with their people. Probably they're free to copy what I have and use, but not my videos because some of them was um, personalized and some of them are videos that I did. But certainly you could use all the written material and all of that and set up a system for your people. If you're not too sure what you're doing, leave your people in the group because there's nothing wrong with your people being in my organization. What happens to a lot of people, they want to have a group and train the people and they haven't done anything like this before. They're not skilled enough. They see another leader do it and they just feel there are three people. You wonder, no, you don't do it like that, right? So make sure you know first before you start to teach, all right? If you're not in that position in the learning curve, always have a person who know more than you teaching and working with them. Nobody's looking to take your people or anything like that, right? Um, yeah, so you make sure they have familiarized themselves with the back office, where they can find a wallet, where everything is in the back office. They must spend time certainly finding the link that they would need to send out to people on the dashboard. Make sure they check out the tools and the training in the back office, the library. All right, that's the last thing on the list, the library. Have them study the video building and network marketing business. You notice I'm talking about this is fundamental to your success by Jim Rohn. Getting that video. Uh, so it's in my YouTube channel, but the link is in the Facebook group. Have them listen to the introductory video by our founder, Akili Omari. He's the founder of Fortress. Help them to locate the link and so forth in the back office. So you follow up with them and you set them up for success. You launch their businesses. You know, some people, you set up a time when you all could talk, whether via your what we call your Zoom console. You get the free Zoom and you and the person sit down and share documents and show them stuff. Or you could do do it over the phone if you so choose. But you set a time to talk with them and they show up. You ask them to make the list a week later, or if you know thing that, like they're accident prone, thing only happening to them. Sometimes I laugh at the problems that people call problems, because I don't be having so many issues. Like for some reason, I always have problem, but other people has had too little thing wrong, and that is like a national crisis. They have to shut down and sit down and study it, and it had COVID, and they on TV watching and listening to that thing whole time. Why only keeping the meeting 7 o'clock? That is the time for the news, but guys, if things get bad enough, you must know. You in so much social media group, you may know it late, but you're gonna know it. If somebody dead from COVID today, and they bring it over the news and thing, how does that affect your business? Why you have to shut down your business and not be here because you're listening to what's going on you just had an election, you want to hear what happened. You could go and get them thing on YouTube afterwards. You need to think like a business person, and more importantly, that this is your business and not your enroller's business. This is your business. The enroller is just here to facilitate, right? So you counsel and strategize, and this is critical. You need to be counseling with somebody, strategizing to build your business. Somebody will be showing you the ropes, telling you what to do when we have meetings and all those things. You have a goal that you sat and talk with the person, your leader with. How are you going to achieve that goal? You need to set out a program based on your time, where you're going to find time to do what. And if that is what you set out, stick to it. Don't have your leader calling you and say, boy, you catch me at a bad time, boy. And that's the time already set up. Shucks, boy, I forget clean. There's a game of 4 clean. Clean, I forget that thing, boy. And all you ain't cussing out nobody, but you have to let people know your time back. And I think what it was vexed with you for. You know, as a leader, to know how you handle the people in your group, right? Because there are some people that thin skin. You can't just tell them that they do something wrong. You can't set up an appointment with me and not be there, and then not tell me nothing. As soon as you know you're not going to be there, let me know, because I will be inconveniencing myself to make it. Because although I said the time with you, things has happened, and I've had to put off sometimes things that are more important to me to be there with you, because I give my word, and then you just clean in my ears. That you don't do people them kind of thing. You need to make your leader, whoever, want to work with you, and you need to be an example to your group of what a good follower is. You understand that? Some people just anyway. You work closely with the enroller, group leader, because they're there to help your people succeed, and you try to have activity in all 3 groups of your matrix. So the person who invited you will explain to you the importance of that. And finally, we reach a teaching pattern. You teach this pattern, and this is where duplication comes in. We can have 15 ways of doing the same business. Different people may have different methods of doing a particular thing or presenting a meeting in a different way. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about this 8-step pattern is 60 years old. This 8-step pattern has created millionaires, multi-millionaires. And I do say some billionaires because they invested the money in other things. And when you're in totality, they are billionaires. So I'm suggesting to you, do not take this pattern lightly. Don't deviate from it and create your own thing. Like when they say are telling you a secret and pass it on, that exercise you do in groups in communication. You see, just as how when you pass it on, the story does change. Anytime you start with doing your own thing, you ain't gonna be able to recognize this pattern down the road. This is the pattern. Stick with the pattern. All right. So, and as you say, don't deviate from it. This is where duplication comes in. Whatever you do must be duplicable. If it's not duplicable, if it is, you have a way that if you know plenty of people and you don't use the videos, you don't come to the meetings, you do meetings for your people and whatnot. Um, you may be training and whatnot, but you're not teaching a pattern that they could follow. Your group will rise, it will plateau, and then it will fall. What you're aiming for by using this 8-step pattern is if you have a duplicable system and everybody knows that system and everybody teaching that system in its pure form, what you have is constant growth and everybody's achieving their goals. Because you know it's not only you achieving your goals, it's your group helping you to achieve your goals too. So if you don't teach them well, you slow down your process. So basically, that's the 8-step pattern there. And I mean, I want to talk now just briefly on the need for what we call why it is transitioning out of the WhatsApp group and I'm going online. I'm seeking to do some, I've already started. We have found the solution to the problem and we have started. And we are split testing a lot of different ads and so forth. So sometime in the future, hopefully, we'll be seeing 10, 20, 30 people, 50, 100 people falling into your group who you don't know and who may be my people or someone of your applying people or whatever. That is using what we refer to as online marketing as a system or a process to have large numbers come into the business. And what I'm doing with the Facebook group is to facilitate that. In the earlies, I would certainly need people who are knowledgeable to be in the Facebook group, because if you have large numbers of people coming in, not knowing about the business or anything, things that you would expect, which is commonplace to you rather, they won't know and they may be asking questions and I won't be there to answer all the questions or the speed that they may be asking questions. So I am looking for the knowledgeable people in the team to be respectfully answering people's questions, not blowing out anybody, because that person may not have fallen under you in the matrix, but they would have fallen under somebody else. And that person would be thankful for that income. And you don't blow out somebody because the question they ask or they're a little difficult to deal with. You go buffing people and all that. Remember, you need to be very delicate with other people's property. You know, like somebody lend you the car, you don't drive normally how you drive a little more careful because it's not yours. And when you're dealing with a group that is not yours necessarily, it may fall in your group or what have you, it doesn't really matter. You treat everybody with respect when you're answering questions. And you don't, even if somebody does something wrong, there's a way to tell somebody they do something wrong without necessarily embarrassing or blowing them out, as we say. So even with your group and your downline, you could exercise tough love based on your personality. But in general, I tend to be gentle with people because they do wrong things simply because they don't know what is the right thing to do. And education and all of that don't help you in this kind of business. In this business, you need to have some social skills in order to, and we teach you social skills, all right? So the people skills are necessary and we need to practice it. And as I say, especially when you're dealing with people, you don't want nobody deal that way with a person and somebody drop out and say, I don't like how that man talk to me. So Um, Let me see if I could go to the group and give a kind of a preview. Oh, I thought I had that open. Um, so it's a Facebook group and a Facebook page, right? I'll just go to the group because that's where you'll be joining. So several of you like the page or whatever, but the group is where the training and everything is going to be. And that is where people would be asking questions and seeking answers and that kind of thing. So you would, many of you would have your own group, or some leaders, I should say, would have their own group and stuff where they would be training their people and stuff. Don't emulate necessarily what they do if you are not in their group. If you're in their group, you follow what they do. But the people who are new to the business should take some time before they take on that kind of challenge. And right, so let me just share screen here and okay. Are you all seeing, right? Great. So this is the Facebook group. Break Free is my brand. There are just about 11 members in the group. I had sent out stuff telling people join now because on the 30th or 31st, I think it is in this month, we will be migrating. That WhatsApp group is going to be shut off. So you all need to come into this group if you need to know what is going on, if you need to know how the business is running and so forth. You see here we for the Zoom calls and stuff that we are having. If we go to the most important place is the files here. And this by month end, this will be populated with many more files and videos and media. This is your most important document, your next move. This tells you step by step, 1 to 10, the things that a newcomer, the fundamentals that they need to do. Some of it I spoke about in the training. The frequently asked document is a document that it has extensively more frequently asked questions. And we advise people not to ask a question unless you check this document. We have some PowerPoints and stuff here. We have the newsletter, the only newsletter that I saw coming from the company, the Memory Jogger, the rules of the group. You see this? This actually is the first thing you need to click on. And this instructs you how you move along. Your next move tells you how you move along in sequence. This Break Free group rules, guys, for us to operate in a Harmon, I had to put the rules of the WhatsApp group up because people were sharing links in there that had nothing to do with um, Fortress. And this is where the problem of somebody coming into the group and never saw the rules before. So obviously they won't know that they're breaking the rule. Here, you read this document first and get acquainted with the rules of the group. And the next move tells you how you build the business step by step by step. You frequently ask questions and all of that, all these things here. And you may have some media here. Well, the media is different videos and stuff. You can't see everything here, videos and pictures and everything that is on the Facebook page, all the videos, many of them in here and much more. And here's where you would get all your information and stuff. All right, so you may have to answer some questions to enter the group, but we will let people in. They need to give your username and so forth so that we know you're a member. Check the username before we let you in and all of that. But this is what we're going to be using, right? It's a success group. You're building it. You'll see much more in it by month end. But let's get busy joining. If your leader is that has another page, folks, please join with whoever leader has their own group. I'm not here to offend anybody or try to take over anybody's group. But the thing is, I'm quite capable of building a group quite separate and apart from this. But what I will want people to do is people who doesn't have a leader who wants them to go to their own page will come to this group. If your leader asks you to go to their page, don't say I prefer this and go to where the leader wants you to go. I'm showing you the benefit of using Facebook group versus WhatsApp or even Telegram. Okay, so if this is it for me for this evening, and unless you have some questions, we could open the floor for questions. We have questions at the training, but no questions are taken at the normal presentations where we expose the business. So let's hear you. If anybody has any questions, they could raise their hand. If you know to raise your hand in the participants group, and we'll take some questions. And in the meantime, Alwyn, if you have anything to add, to take away, you can unmute and speak.
I have something to say, but boy, I clean forget. Nothing, everything was good today, unless you want me to talk about something in particular. Everything was really good today.
I know, but comment on anything that you feel free to comment on anything. I just wanted to make sure we did it within the hour and leave a half hour for questions.
Well, as far as the Facebook page is concerned, it's good. I'm actually looking at it on my other computer here now. I know you asked me to like it, and I like it, and I didn't even look at what I was liking, but now that I see it, I like it. So,
no, that what you had like was the page. There's a group. You should probably join the group too. There's a group. There's a link. I'll send you the link to join the group because they only put it up in our WhatsApp thing. Just remind me of that after the call. It's a different link, and I put it in the I sent it to all the leaders and so forth, and the leaders of the various groups, because I didn't want to put it in our group and have people coming. So
yeah, send it to me separate.
Yeah, will do. Yeah. So any questions, anybody?
Moving on, with the other project of the advertising, how is that coming along?
Well, as I don't know if I had told you that, but we made several attempts to, with a video, use video advertising, kind of sizzle video and our landing page. Facebook blocked all, and we recognized that we had to work around it. I'm not going to say publicly what we did, but we worked around it, and it's just for me to give the all clear to start doing larger numbers of videos. We'll start that probably weekend, because I needed to talk with the guy to know exactly what he is using, because I don't want to send a false message. Whatever picture or video he's using, I don't want to give a wrong impression of the business. I have to mind my business with reference to that. So so we're testing videos now, and I want to see what he's using, and then we will choose and just go with it.
All right, cool.
All right, so if there are no questions, comments, and so forth, what we'll do is close off because it's 8:20 now. And guys, we are moving into a different phase of the business. Those of you who don't have three, get your three very quickly. Those of you who want to go into relaunching your business, speak with your leader and stuff, and we could probably have a leaders meeting talking about the launch because that will be critical for this time. Um, if people are seeing a lot of people falling in under them or their groups growing fast, it keeps the morale and whatnot because when things not going good for you, you find everybody to blame and you just be bitter. Bitterness and brokery goes hand in hand. And you want people to, if you get your business into momentum, then you would see things happening. You want 6 levels to be filled, to be on the cruise whenever that is. Some people kind of have a bad feeling about cruise. Or they going to get vaccine just now and all they could go and have people sneezing on their face. Don't worry. You're going to start back cruising next year, please God. And I think you have to have your 5th or your 6th level compact. You may have much more people in your group, probably triple that amount. But it's when you fill that compact. So if compaction is a yardstick that the company is using for rewards, then the system of bringing in everybody bringing in a 3, certainly your 1st level will be filled. And then if those people do that, your 2nd level will be filled, and so forth. All right. So we say the launch is going to be a very quick way. If everybody launching at the same time, that's the ideal thing to happen. But everybody may not be on the same page. Some people may still be studying the election. Some people, minds all over the place. But for those who want a launch, just indicate that to your leader and we will organize and launch your businesses. So in between the meetings that we normally have, we could do additional meetings to facilitate people, and we could launch 2-3 people's meetings on a different night, right? So we'll collaborate on that. But when you come into launch, you can't say you're having a launch and then come and tell the leader, hey boy, you know, me get nobody to come, boy. We're not accepting that. We don't care if the people enjoy. Have some people there, all right? And you invite until. Sometimes I just get hoarse talking and inviting and to, if I am launching a business. Because you call until you get sufficient number of people at the meeting because you're not going to waste. I don't think people are be embarrassed about that still, that they're wasting the upline or the leader's time. Some people just say, don't frighten me, go do it again next week. As if you live just to have them waste your time, you know what I mean? So be mindful of those things, and nothing wrong with launching your business. You could have your whole group launch your business. Sit down, you talk to them, you motivate them and whatnot. And we launch. If everybody could decide that, listen, we use the rest of this month and we start September with everybody launching the business, or that as an idea. You have enough time to make over list what it is. The 21st is whole 10 days. We could launch our businesses starting from Monday. Because there's enough time to make lists and all of that. And everything is in that group room there. And just send your people in there and they could learn what to do and what not. And you learn it yourself by joining before them. That could be a wise idea. So that you could now point them to where things are and whatnot, rather than I have 500 people asking me questions and saying that they're not getting a response in a timely manner. You know, people come in and expect that the $10 buy real thing. So if no questions, this would be all for today. It's 8:25. We could close off at this point. So guys and gals, we on Sunday we having what you call a corporate meeting, and that webinar 7 p.m. on Sunday. So book that. Make sure that is free. Do your inviting, get your people there, and start the ball rolling. All right, because it would be a shameful thing to have a flood of people coming in whenever that happens. It's not going to be tomorrow, but to have a flood of people coming in, you have 500 people underneath you, and you only sponsor 2 people. You know you need 3 to qualify to get income, right? So you'll be losing 500 US a month until you or more, because those 5 people, those 500 people will quickly turn into 2,500 people by the next month. And if you let not sponsoring one person keep you back from, you lose 500 already, and now you're going to lose 2,500. It's not fun. It's not fun. All right, so let's just pull together, work with your upline, and let's just get this done. All right. So guys, see you on Sunday, please God.
Okay, thanks, Morgan.
All right.